What's up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video on this lovely Valentine's weekend. And man, if you are a wrestling fan and love both WWE and AEW stuff, by the way, I'll say you're going to have the time of your life, just like your boy Super Ninja Austin here. And I'll say definitely for the other company side of the point of view, because let's just say everything I said that was going to happen pretty much did happen. But I'm gonna get into all that in just a moment. But for the NXT's Vengeance Day that was on tonight, it was really totally good. But I'll say most of the matches that happened, except half of them, it's exactly the complete opposite of how I predicted it to be. And unfortunately, it seemed like WWE always loves to do the complete opposite that I'll predict. At least it's partial. Like in this case, I guess it's probably best if they did that because they let everybody know that then everybody's not really and nobody's not in control if they're not behind what they call behind the curtain, that has the creative books, and that's going to be that's going to what they call that's the plans on what's going to be determined to happen and when it comes to the story's perspective in WWE, like even on the developmental brand. Well, we got some shocking official debuts. We got justice being unserved by two guys that's trying to seek some revenge onto their heel counterparts, and also we got a couple of shocking matches that happened, shocking wins by the wrestlers that from a couple of wrestlers that your boy SNA then got really corrected. Like it was actually the complete opposite of anything. But I think this is where we saw Obafemi and even the 8 Town Down Under and Bailey and what's their names, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez and Julia to start getting into the no. And speaking of those guys, I want to say that we got but we did but the matches that we did predict it right, on the SNA podcast. Let's just say that it was exactly how I predicted it to be. Like we finally saw an official split from one duo that are have been good friends for years, while the other with a tag team let's just say they're still the team, but they still but it's still they've been teasing that they were gonna throw hands on each other, and they were probably maybe even 90% of getting there, but they still went to their other opponents in order to continue to tease until when that day comes. But starting things up, we're gonna be talking about. Is it going to be the NXT Women's North American Championship? Yeah, between Stephanie Vaquer taking on Fallon Henley, which I got to admit that this deserves the bronze trophy of the night. It was totally good. I'll say, let's just say let's say the men's NXT and women's championship match tied at the Golden Trophy Award. But this is where we got Stephanie Vaquer start things off with Val Henley with her getting the offense and even doing that head scissor facebuster Majinky maneuver onto the reigning defending women's North American Championship. And this is where we got Stephanie Vaquer then led her Fallon right to the right. This is where the referee's like, "Are you gonna do something about it?" She's clearly unhinged and uncontrolled. And that's where she slaps Stephanie, but this is where it's you really just slapped me like that. This is where fans start chanting Fallon sucks, which that's probably for the best for them to say because she is the heel, and that's probably the most PG what's a convincing insult that you could say in WWE. But this is where we got Stephanie Vaquer and got her into a sleeper hole until Fallon Henley flipped right out of it. This is where we got a damn near roll up, but this is where Stephanie Vaquer managed to escape out of it. This is where going back and forth. This is where they try to go for what they call a waist lock, but this is where we got Stephanie Becker then try to go for a roll up. This is where we got her try to go for a pin. But this is where we got what's her name? Fallon Henley push her right off. This is where then we got Stephanie then went right towards Fallon Henley try to go for a wheelbarrow. But this is where we this turned into an armbar by Fallon Henley. This is where she got it locked in. This is where we got Stephanie Becker. There was nowhere else to go. This is where she got it locked. This is where she got her arm locked. This is where Stephanie Becker tried to go for a double meteor, but this is where she ends up getting put right up on the top rope and out of the counter. This is where Stephanie Becker is going for an arm bar. This is where we got what's his name? Fallon Henley. Then let go because this is where Stephanie Becker was brought. She dropped her down right to the left corner side. This is where we got Jasmine Nix trying to create a diversion right onto the referee. So Stacey Jenkins hit a big pump boot right in the face. And I'm like, yeah, the classics, like typical heel stuff. That's where she throws Stephanie back in the ring. This is where then we got Fallon Henley then going right, picking her up, put her right into the corner. This is where she start booting her right into the face. This is where and then start booting her right into the face. This is where then we got what's her name? What's her name? JC Jane then I did Fallon hit you so hard in the face. And it's like that's too bad. This is where we got what's her name? Fallon Henley try to go for a pin, but it's where she gets a pin at 2 point. What was it? This is where we got. This is where we got. What's her name? This is where we got Fallon Henley started kicking her right in the face when the last pinfall attempt did not work the way she planned it. This is where she's like there's not a damn thing that you could do. What's her name? Stephanie. This is where she went right up on top of her head, start jumping on her head like into an electric chair position. This is where she's like, yeah, like and screaming like if she really is. Really, like if she really is a cowgirl, this is where she said "yeehaw, baby." Where normally she would say the other phrase that starts with letter B, but not an innocent PG word that you would not really would prefer to say. But this is where we got. And when Fallon Henley gets thrown on the right corner side, this is where she gets intercepted by Fallon, and she got thrown right to the left side. This is where Fallon then tried to go for a cutter or snapmare maneuver, but she ends up getting pushed by Stephanie Becker. But somehow, like the reigning defending women's North American champion hit a big old right hand, snapmares her right to the right, with her face in the right corner rope, hits a big slingshotting discus right hand that I've ever seen in professional wrestling. She tried to go for a pin, but this is where she gets kicked out at. This is where Stephanie kicked out at 2.2, was it? But this is where we got Fallon Henley then go right up into a what's like a I believe like a what like about to go for a suplex, but before she even did that, I think that's when she hit the right hand center right to the right corner side. Then she hits her face first right onto the turnbuckle. This is where then Fallon Henley was like, all right, come on, Steph. Like I need to hit you with this move. This is where she tried to go for springboard. She dips right to the bottom right corner. Hits a what they call a blockbuster neck breaker majiggy maneuver. But but Stephanie still yet again kicked out at 2.7. This is where Fallon started going for an arm bar, like locking in on her arm after hitting that slingshot at what's up the blockbuster neck breaker off the metal ropes. This is where she tried to go for this twister like arm maneuver into a headlock. But this is where Fallon Henley knees her right into the midsection. But this is where Stephanie Becker hits the right hand. But it's where Fallon hit the right hand, like with everybody booing, with everybody cheering in the nation's capital. They must be the Dark Angels, huge, ginormous fan in the capital of the United States. But it's where we got Stephanie Becker, then pick her up, try to go for what's that called? Try to go for that. What's that called? Like a firewoman's carry. Like I was hoping for it would be the DSAS Valley Driver or the AVD for short. But it's where we got Fallon Henley counter out of it, slams her right into the floor. But it's where we saw Stephanie got back up, slams her right back first, then hit her with a super kick, which she tried to go for a clothesline, pulling a Rob Van Dam in the process. And then she went from him to Rey Mysterio because she hit a 619 right onto what's her name to. Right on to what's her name? Right on to what's her Fallon Henley, even though some might say like it's her own version of it, the leg swinging kick, like because like I believe everybody like in the lucha libre style wrestling maneuvers does that maneuver in particular in their own version of that. But this is where we got Stephanie Vaquer, and then a back suplex to top that things off. This is where then we got Stephanie, then wait for what's her name? Waits for what's his name? What on to Fallon Henley. This is where she did exactly what she did earlier. Start hitting her face, start hopping up with Booker T's like hop, 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 but she was double lucky from getting the double whammy card somewhere in the ring. But this is where, once you try to go for a pin, Fallon Henley, I don't know how she kicked out at the near fall at 2.9999999999 miles point away from you. This is where we got this is where then Vic Joseph would not stop saying it's getting way too hot in here with Booker T and Corey Graves finally agreeing with him, which they thought he was crazy at first. But yeah, but for some reason, hopefully that they fixed the heating problem at that time. But luckily, what it had nothing to do with these ladies. Like some might say, like some of those pervs from Reddit would probably say that's the reason why that it's getting hot in there. But this is where we got. That's where we got. That's where we got. What's her name? Fallon then hits an elbow strike. This is where she runs right to the top quarter side. This is where she gets kneed by Stephanie. This is where she's trying to go for clothesline. This is where she goes for a spear. She gets tripped right over. This is where we got what's the name? Fallon Henry trying to go for step up in Zagiri. This is where then we got a Shining Wizard kick. This is where we got what's her name? Stephanie Vaquer trying to go for a cover. Then what's her name? Fallon Henry hits like a neck breaker version of her faceplant maneuver that you normally do, and thinking that's going to put away the Chilean wrestler. And this is where we got one fan was standing for Stephanie Vaquer, when everybody around the arena was chanting for Stephanie, Stephanie. Even one fan in particular that had some very colorful braids or dreads, whatever you want to refer to it as. But this is where we got. And where we got what's her name? Stephanie Vaquer somehow got back up, pulled a page out of what's her name? Pulled a page out of Mi Chin's playbook and hit the defeat. And this is where she hit the dragon screw on the Fallon Henley's knee when she put her right in the corner. Like when she was trying to go for. And this is where then Stephanie Vaquer probably sent a message to the girl that beat her for that women's championship with the purple. Never mind. But anyway, this is where she hits the double meteor knees to the face, which I was like I think I know somebody that does it better. And as a matter of fact, I think Stephanie knows this person, and I probably won't be mentioning him until like later on, like in the night, like while I'm doing these podcast videos. But anyway, this is where we got. But that's where we got Stephanie Vaquer, then try to go for a pin, but this is where we try. This is where she knew we got 3, but then we got her 2.9 on the dot. But this is where then this is where then we got what's her name? Found him like I don't feel so good. Like this is where she was like what day is it? Like I know it's the weekend, but what day of the week it is? But this is where somehow Fallon Henley with all her strength, she barely hit a half suplex majiggy, whatever it's called. This is where we got Fallon Henley to run to the top corner side, try to go for a famouser, but this is where Stephanie Vaquer to try to go for a wheelbarrow roll up, but this is where she gets pushed right off the pinfall. This is where we got JC Jane hit a big devastating right woman's hand. This is where then we got. I thought this was gonna be it, but despite that, this is where she still kicked out like at the last second of 2.99999999999. Double my mind up on the way being 3, and yeah, she did it again. So somebody better call Britney Spears and put her on speed dial. But anyway, this is where we got what happened. This is where we got. This is where we got found him was like Stephanie, like you're not gonna beat me. It seemed like you had bad luck with when it comes to fight for the women's mid card belt. But Stephanie Vaquer didn't prove it wrong. But they're trying to. That's where she hits a head, but I believe she was about to take a page out of Naomi's playbook and do like a very certain non-PG pile driver, which I'm not sure if I should say it on TV. I mean, not TV, say it on here on YouTube. Like, even though WrestleMania kind of did, like, but that's WrestleMania. Like, Like I just think it was kind of sounding inappropriate for me to say, but it's where we got Fallon Henley counter out of it. This is where she sent Stephanie Vaquero right into the bottom left corner, trying to do some kind of maneuver, but she went up the top rope, but ends up getting pushed by the former CMLL and New Japan Strong Women's Champion. This is where Jasmine Nix and JC Jane try to attack her. First, JC try to go for a clothesline. She ducks out of the way. Right there, this is where she hits a big boot right into the face onto Jasmine Nix that tried to go for an attack. On second, is where she hits a big old right hand to her payback right onto JC Jane, like giving her some revenge, which that's what Vengeance Day is all about. It's trying to get your arch nemesis some cold taste of justice, which I'll say a couple of matches, not exactly how I expected to be, and also like how I made this promising, like for you assassinators, which is probably for the best. And if I have anything to do with any creative decisions, like I would say I'm gonna have to take responsibility and accountability of my actions. But I doubt that's the case, and it's just a sign of WWE show that like it's obviously that you don't know everything like you do over at the other company. But this is where we got. I know Stephanie Vaquero hit a super kick right on to Jasmine Nix. Well, what's her name? What's her name? JC J try to go one, she go for super kick on her with Booker T's like, oh yeah, like if it's all women brawl for all, like where it's only him and the homeless man and the hurricane that's watching. But anyway, this is where we got found him. We try to go for a swift kick, but she gets tripped right over, gets right down on her knees. Is where she under Stephanie Vaquero and try to go for a double underhook backbreaker maneuver that right onto the apron, which I believe she managed to do so. But she hit more in her head right into the hardest part of the ring, which is the ring apron. This is where Stephanie Vaquero then they went back in the ring. She stand onto the ropes, hit a springboard crossbody on all three members of the Fatal Influence, which it's so odd. Like you would expect she needs some allies, but it seemed like in this case, like she don't even need some. Like it's like the 3-on-1 is like probably 10-on-3 at this point, like into this handicap scenario. But this is where we got Stephanie Vaquero then try to go for that package SVP backbreaker maneuver to immediately get the 1-2-3. And I was not expecting this. This was one of the matches that I expected her to actually win, but she finally got her moment here in WWE, and she's here definitely to stay. And she's finally a belt that she promised ever since she came into the company. And I kind of predicted this myself, but I thought it was going to be her being the one to dethrone Kalani Jordan. But it was Fallon Henley that did it, which she finally did to her. And let's just say they kind of teased some things about her and another women's champion on NXT. But we're just going to get into that in just a moment. But yeah, and also I want to give a big congratulations to the new women's North American champion. Did you expected her to win, unlike your boy Super Ninja Austin here? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. Because if I'm not mistaken, I did say Fallon Henley, even though we can see Stephanie Vaquero will take it to the absolute limit until there's going to be some outside distractions. But despite the outside distractions from Jasmine Nix and JC Jane, she still overcome them. But next up, we got the NXT Tag Team Championship match that was up next, which was Nathan Frazier and Axiom taking on the team of Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. And yeah, and then this match totally gets the silver trophy of the night because these guys just know how to do speed and hard hitting and some very powerful, I'll say, powerful, hard-hitting maneuvers as well, which, what's his name, Josh Briggs went in a whole new level. Like, even though, like I'm not sure, like, what some of y'all would say, like, what's next for the former NXT Tag Team Champion, but I would say there is some gold in his future, just like when he used to team with, what's his name, Brooks Jensen, was it? But yeah, this is where then they were bringing the fight to the tag team. Like, and this is where we got Nathan Frazier and Axiom was being like the usual selves, like Sonic, because they were going fast. And before I get into that, I better excuse me for a moment. Okay, just have a little bit. Anyways, assassinators. That's where we got what's his name was the legal man at the time. I can remember him. The former sumo wrestler and the pro wrestling knows very own Yoshiki Inamura. This is where then he then start throwing, tossing around what the Axiom was it? Axiom right into his own corner. This is where he hits a knife edge chop. And the one thing I did not realize about Yoshiki Inamura, like that Vic Joseph pointed out, that he was the former protege of the legendary and WWE Hall of Famer Great Muta. This is where we got Inamura start going for knife edge chops repeatedly right onto the chest on the axe. This is where he started punching the chop. This is where Josh Briggs like, woo, like I bet if I was near, he would probably be perfectly fine. Like this is what. I bet he'll beat both of the gold, but luckily I'm his tag partner because it looks like there's going to be a guarantee that we will be tag team champions. But this is where we got what's his name? Yoshiki Inamura start hitting some knife edge chops like if he's a Japanese Gunther. This is where then we got him. And this is where then we got Inamura is like, oh, you want some more hard strike hitting maneuvers? Like, which he probably hits more harder than any names like in the wrestling business and maybe even in the Japanese base. Like, but this is where then we got him to hit a knife edge chop. But this is where then we got what's his name? Actually tried to hit a knife edge chop, which was kind of petty because he looked barely like if he was alive, like the way he got back up. But yeah, like. They were just hitting chops and chests, like which I believe Gunther must have found a new threat, even though he's not from the other company that he puts puts guys in the with. But I would say, given that it was he'd been hitting more chops than he ever been ever since he joined NXT, I would say he was definitely on like in the top 5 list of Gunther's envy list and he cannot wait for him to get called to the main roster, wherever he was at watching this, you feel very threatened by Yoshiki Inamura. This is where somehow we got a kick, a very back-legged kick, like I believe was what's that? What that attack kick with the fans start chanting NXT. Like this is where we got Axiom go for the tag onto Nathan, which is the partner. This is where it goes. This is where Nathan Frazier goes for an axe handle, try to take down to the powerhouse of Josh Briggs, which he was struggling like. At first, try to go for a surfboard DDT, but only for him to get pushed right off by the former UK Tag Team Champion. This one tried to go for an attack, but he ends up getting booted right to the face by the former Heritage Cup Champion and the current Tag Team Champion of NXT. That's where it goes for a surfboard DDT to make up for his mistake, because you know the rules. If it don't work the first attempt, it's gonna be the second time it's guaranteed. That's where Nathan Frazier hit a shooting star press, go for a pin, but he only got a 1-2 of 2.5. Like if it's a generic quarterback that's calling a typical play. This is where he tags an Axiom, but he tags himself back in the match when Axiom got on the top rope, hit a frog splash while Nathan Frazier went back and hit what's that called? A springboard 450 leg drop, which I believe was supposed to be a 450 normal splash. But I think he made a mistake and then he landed on his face, which I hope Josh Briggs is doing okay after taking that bump. That looked very painful. But anyway, it's where we got. That's where Nathan Frazier was like, are you sure that was 2? Like it felt like a 3, which it was still close that way, like to the point that you would expected it if you weren't looking closely. But this is where we got. This is where Nathan Frazier tried to go for a Russian leg sweep, but this is where we got Briggs throws Frazier like if he's a child right into Axiom, but luckily none of them fell right into each other. But this is where Axiom tried to fly right up on the Briggs, but he hits a deep 6. He hits a backbreaker version of a deep 6, I should say. That of course. That's where Josh Briggs grab him around his throat, try to go for a chokeslam, but he ends up turning to a power bomb, like he's his own version of Obafemi. He tried to go for a clothesline right onto Axiom, tags his partner Yoshiki Inamura. This is where he goes for a clothesline, but this is where Josh Briggs goes for a clothesline as well. This is where we saw a pretty dangerous and devastating. not much of a devastating, more like a very brutal move that I've ever seen like lately in recent history in 2025 is that Josh Briggs, like once Axiom was running to the left side, he picked him up, hits the like if it's a normal body or like back body drop, but only for Yoshiki Inamura, like picks him up and hit a pop up power bomb, which I never see anybody did before. I'm like, where like this had me thinking like, where is this Inamura dude? What kind of planet is he from? Because he's wrestling like if he's not even human. But because like for any even like a very talented wrestler can even do moves like this guy does, and I sure hope he sticks around in WWE. Again, hopefully he's more of a recognizable star, just like all kinds of Japanese wrestlers like Shinsuke Nakamura. Even though WWE is not really utilizing him, which I understand what's the reason why. But my point is like Asuka and Io Sky as well. Like they must have been used like in a former multi-time women's champion. But yeah, like something just tells me like if he start getting more recognized sooner rather than later, he'll be perfectly fine in WWE. Like most likely. But anyways, where we got this is where we got Josh Briggs was riding to the left corner of ropes. This is where we got Nathan Frazier and Axiom was down in the ground. This is where we got Yoshiki Inamura was trying to get himself back up, but Nathan was trying to get right back up to the front. This is where fans start chanting, "This is awesome!" And look, if it wasn't for those men's and women's championship matches, like I would give this match the golden trophy. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm not making that as an excuse, but it's just that the comparison ranks. Like it's just that both the triple threat the men's championship and the fatal four way women's championship match were just like what like that was like main event level. But that's where we got. But that's where we got Axiom to go for an insecure right onto Yoshiki and Inamura off the top rope, like right after Josh Briggs and Nathan Frazier went on to the outside. This way it's a very, very, very impressive Spanish fly right off the upper left corner. This where Nathan Frazier took a page out of his former wrestling teacher's playbook, which that is Seth Rollins. But before he can even hit the Phoenix Splash, this is where he gets caught with the right hand, like if Kane was grabbing with his right hand. This is where he choke slammed him right onto. He chose right onto Axiom with him flying right in the air, which is the first time I've seen somebody flew even though that they were hitting an avalanche choke slam before in WWE or even overall in professional wrestling in that matter. But this is where Nathan Frazier and Axiom was like, oh my, this is where then what's the name what's the name of this is where Vic Joseph and Corey and Booker was like, oh my God, they were like, wow, like they really just did that. This is where then we go for a step up in Sagiri, right on to what's his name, to Josh Briggs. But this is where we got this is where Josh Briggs and hits a very painful looking Stan Hansen clothesline, like that's what Vic Joseph described it as. But this is where we got Axiom hits a poison rider right on him, while that's where we got what's his name Inamura then tackles Nathan Frazier, then Axiom. Right after that all happened is where we got him to spin him around, hits try a fallaway power slam, but it's where Nathan came in and saved the day right on time and hits him with a sleeper hold, or else we would be seeing new NXT Tag Team Champions much more sooner. But this is where we got. But this is where we got Inamura was nearly about to be put to sleep. But this is where Inamura then picks up the former NXT Heritage Cup champion. This is where he hits a Death Valley driver right onto his partner of what's his name of Axiom, which was like kind of like my finisher, but it's a different name and a different way he did it. But once you try to go for a pin, you will not believe what just happened next because Nathan kicked out at 2.9999999999 of the nine of minus 0.1. Like when the referee hand was directly right at the mat, looked like he about to touch it, but right on the mat, like with him to start wobbling when he saw Nathan's shoulders and legs got up, he didn't stop right there, like because there was a kick out. This is where we got Yoshiki and Inamura then try to roll up what's name, Nathan Frazier, right, where he wanted him. This is where he puts Axiom right on top of him. This is where we got this. And where the fans are chanting Inamura, which like he's starting to be a fan favorite much more sooner than we expected him to be, and that's a good sign. Like let's hope that we got some instant success. Like it's gonna be in this future. Like what if he's in the singles division or tag division, continuing with Josh Briggs? I just feel that we're gonna probably see more of him more often, and see him probably be winning more matches. Like much more in the future, but this is where we got him try to go for a splash. But this is where Nathan Frazier and Axiom move right out of the way. Smart move from the champs. But this is where Nathan Frazier hit a suicide dive on the Josh Briggs. But this is where he caught him around his neck. This is where it is like oh, you want to be sent to hell? This is where the Nathan Frazier Axiom was like, nope, now on my watch. And this is where he hit the moonsault right into the bottom left side, where Charlotte Flair loves doing her signature iconic moonsault. But this is where and then you got the flatliner dropkick combo from Frazier and X, and this way they get the 1, 2, 3, still your NXT Tag Team Champions, which I guess I got right, which was Axiom and Nathan Frazier, like with them finding a way and just putting these unstoppable duo in bed, I guess you could say, with them like finally finally they put them away, and still your reigning defending NXT Tag Team Champion, I believe, is gonna be the longest reign ever. And the one thing I had me wondering, because they've been successfully defending the titles against everybody in the NXT tag division, and even a couple of guys on TNA. And speaking of TNA, there's been a tease like with Santino Marella, like the authority figure on TNA, wants to do like a little partnership kind of management, like when it comes to their superstars, like making a visit to NXT, and what's her name, Ava. Then agreed on to these terms, like of what we could expect. This is where we got Ricky Starks. Then it was in the video message, like with him saying that he's gonna be watching, like because it was like hours ago before the pay-per-view. This is where then he said like I will be watching Vengeance Day exclusively on Peacock. And just like last week, I will be making an appearance on this coming week's NXT, and I'm gonna finally get to sign my first contract with the first contract with NXT, but his name for the brand is still unknown, which it has me wondering. But let me know in the comment section right down below what's your thoughts on to that matter. But 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 let me know down in the comment section right down below what's your opinion on to this matter. If you like if you think he's gonna keep Ricky Starks, let me know, or even like a name that you could think that could fit the absolute one. Just let me know. But I feel it's gonna be Ricky Starks because I heard that they have on the roster page that's what the name he's using right now. Let's hope it stays that way. Because WWE these days, they have a track record of wrestlers even from the other company, they still use the name from there and anywhere else that they wrestle at. We'll just look at Ethan Page, look at Shawn Spears, look at the Motor City Machine Guns, with them, even though they're partnered with TNA, but still, that's still companies that's outside of WWE. But this is where we got what's his name, Eddie Thornton. Oh no, what I'm talking about? Oh yeah, and then back to Santino Marella and Dave was discussing things about the crossover deal between NXT and TNA, and then even have his daughter Ariana Grace, which she's also like in a type authority figure in NXT. I mean TNA that I heard, and she probably will do the same in NXT because of this little partnership merger. And what do you think what's going to be happening with this partnership is going to be more noticeable than ever? And do you think do you think we're going to be seeing a crossover of a title for title matches, most specifically the tag team titles very soon for probably Stand and Deliver, perhaps? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. That's a good question about that. But next up, we got the strap match between Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe, with them just beating the sense out of each other, like with the whip especially, but even without the whip, they just start beating they beat have every chance to beat the hell out of each other, and it wasn't no DQ. Like so, yeah, of course they're gonna be using some weapons, but anyway, this is where we got them to start hitting each other with the barricades and the announce table, and even hitting each other with the whips as well. But the thing is, we didn't see no justice have been served, even though we heard that Eddie Thorpe claims that he's the victim into this story, and like Trick Williams has all the attention, and they're still gonna chant him like genuinely, like even without him being the NXT champion. They totally forget about him before when his opportunity crashed down, but this is where they show like Trick Williams said, like, you don't have nobody to blame but yourself, and you and somehow like you keep weaseling your way to getting title opportunity. While like ever since I lost my belt, I haven't had a single chance of fighting back for that said championship. But yeah, that's true in a way. But this is where Vic Joseph even agreed with Trick Williams, like he's blaming everybody just because of his failures, like when he had no one to blame but him. But this is where we got But that's where we got a very cruel thing from the Native American wrestler because Eddie Thorpe started tying him up right around the ring. This is where he started whipping him right to the ring post after hitting him with some side roundhouse kicks. Started repeatedly hitting him. That's where Trick Williams like, let go. Like, I don't want to get hit with this no more. Like, if he's trying to make him say I quit, even though that's the wrong match stipulation. But this is where then we got, what's his name? Eddie Thorpe threw Trick Williams shoulder first right onto the ring post in the bottom right corner side. Here's where then Trick Williams and pulled him right back, hit him face first when he tried to do it again. Here's where we got Eddie Thorpe to try to go for try to pull onto his arm, like right with the strap, like still on his side, like in favoring in favoring like what's his name, Eddie. This is where he didn't that's where he kicked him right into his face after he went up on the top. That's where the fans were saying whoop that trick to Trick Williams because that's what he's good at. He's whooping tricks, like male tricks, I should say. But that's where like I'm hoping that doesn't sound inappropriate. Maybe I should have changed it more a bit, like maybe. But this is where then we got him. Then it's the right hands to the face on the Trick Williams, like him wrapping the strap around in his bald fist. That's where fans started booing him. Where where fans are chanting like chanting "You suck" to Eddie, like or Eddie sucks. That's where then she goes. That's where he goes for a body slam. That's where Eddie Thorpe then countered like and then a forearm strike right to Trick Williams back. His lower back. That's where he did take a page out of Randy Orton's playbook and kind of borrowed Randy Orton's backbreaker maneuver. Luckily, Randy Orton will not throw some cease and desist papers like towards NXT's direction. But this is where we got This is where we got Eddie Thornton. Like, what do I got to do to put him away for good? This is where then he. This is where they started playing tug of war with the strap. This is where we got Eddie Thorpe pulls trick, hits him face first right onto the middle turnbuckle on the bottom left side. This is where Eddie Thorpe like, oh, like oh, what you gonna do now, Trick? Like, you can't do nothing. And this is where then he picks up the leader of the whoop that era, like or at least former or whatever you want to call it. He went to a face first. He was like, your days as the face of this brand is over. Now it's time to see a new face. It's where he's like, yeah, it's a piece of cake. But what he did not know, the Trick Williams immediately got back up from that, and then he got right up on his knees with Trick Williams, like not just yet. Like I like to see you, like take me out. This is where he spine busted him back first, right to the upper left side, hit some repeated clothesline. Then he hit him with the strap as well. This is where he tried to go for another clothesline. He ends up hitting some elbow strikes right into the back of the former NXT champion. Then he once he wrapped him around with the strap, he boots him back first, make him hit him face first right into the turnbuckle on the bottom left side. This is where we got Eddie Thorpe, then hits him with his signature or even finisher elbow, the flying elbow, like with him running to the bottom corner's ropes and going back down. But that's where but the thing is, he kicks out at 2 point. Was it like 8? Was it like nothing wasn't bringing down the master of the whoop that era? This is where we got Eddie Thorpe to try to whip him again. This is where he ends up getting pushed. Here's where fans are chanting whoop that trick with what's they trying to whip Trick Williams, but he dodged it. He hits a bookend, which I was surprised. Booker T was very quiet. Well, I wouldn't be that much surprised because he was kind of taking Eddie Thorpe's side, even though he's a fan of Trick Williams. But at the same time, it seemed like that he was feeling a bit a little bit bad, too bad for Eddie Thorpe, even though he kind of deserved whatever he's getting. Like that's a beating related to the former NXT champion. But that's where he start wrapping the strap around the neck of Eddie Thorpe, like if he's his own version of John Cena, like he did when John Cena was in this type of match stipulation with Umaga when he defended his WWE championship back like almost 18 years ago, was it? But this is where Eddie Thorpe grabbed onto the ropes. This is where the Trick Williams, like, I'm not letting go. This is where the referee's like, you got to eventually have to let go, like because he's not budging. And we all know that there's no rope breaks in strap matches, at least when it comes to the no DQ stipulated ones. But this is where Trick Williams go for a clothesline, pulling them up in the process to go for a close because they are strapped together in one hand. Is where Trick Williams like, did anybody want to see me give him a big old ass whooping like that he should have gotten as a child? Is where fans are like, yes, whoop that trick, and he literally did whoop that trick. And that's where he started whipping, lashing him like if he was his daddy, like and make him learn a lesson that he'll never soon to forget, or well, he probably will soon to forget. But I'll get into that in just a moment. That's when he started whipping right in the back, and he even did so bad he got back up, like even though he was a little exhausted, but it didn't even matter compared to him getting hit with that whipping within that strap. Like where his fans are clapping, like he finally got the whooping that he deserves. This where then we got Trick Williams and goes for the back legged kick with that man Booker T hollering because he thinks he's the next because he thinks Trick is the next Booker or himself, I should say. That's where he then hits a couple of flapjacks as well, like into a comeback as well. This is where then we got Trick Williams. Then I believe he hit that slinging flying with an arm drag, if I'm mistaken, when he pulled him right into his corner, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, I think he hit him with the trick shot. It was actually when he picked him right up. That's when we picked him right. He hit him with the trick shot, like when he got him up. But this is where we got. But once he hit him with the trick shot, this is where then Eddie Thorpe fell on the outside. That was very unfortunate because if he was still in the ring, that would have been Trick's night, and thought he would got the justice that he'd been sued to look for. But this is where Eddie Thorpe, as soon as he got thrown right back in the ring, this is where he immediately gets booted right into the face by Trick Williams. This is where Trick Williams tried to go for a chick shot. But this is where this ends up being a disadvantage for the leader of the Whoop That era because he gets slinged right into the family jewels, right onto the underneath him when he tried to go for a trick shot. This is where we got what's his name, Eddie Thorpe, and wait for him to get right back up, like so he get his finisher. Like when he turned him around, he hits him with a running knee, and that's where then he tried to go for a pin after his knee, but somehow he shockingly got the 1, 2, and 3. Shocking the NXT universe, with one fan in the front audience that was wearing a green and orange sweatshirt. He was looking in disbelief because he thought Trick Williams was going to win. That's where what's name said probably the best line of the night. Like Vic Joseph, like that was probably the understatement of the night. Like which he said that like he shocked the NXT universe, which he literally did because all of us thought that it was going to be Trick Williams that's going to win because normally in pay-per-view matches like these, like Trick Williams like normally would win. Like especially like when he was the NXT champion, he always keep winning matches, only lost like one match. But he then took the pinfall when Ethan Page dethroned him for the NXT championship, even though that's all part of the rules. Like it don't matter if it's the champion that you need to pin. It can be anybody that's involved in the match. But anyways, but what's your thoughts on this very controversial win from Eddie Thorpe? And do you think that's going to lead him up into a future NXT championship down the line? I sure hope that Trick Williams finally have a moment that he can finally try to have a chance to at least win back the championship. Even though we all know by now that he's probably just the I'll say an aisle away from joining the main roster, I guess you could say, or or just a step away. I should say a level of a step away. I guess I should rephrase that. Let me know down in the comment section right down below on what's your opinion on today. And do you agree with me on that? Like, do you think that Triple Williams is just main roster material enough that he's gonna get caught up from this spring on the WWE draft in April or May? I think it's gonna be in May, like the beginning of May. Since WrestleMania is gonna be towards the end of the month of April, I think it'll make sense to have it in May. But yeah, again, let me know down in the comment section right down below. But it's where we got one match did not really go well for this particular wrestler's favor to another, as we got the match with between Ethan Page and Javon Evans, which they showed that from replays from the past couple weeks with ever since that Ethan Page broke this jaw, I believe was the New Year's Evil edition of NXT, if not the NXT before then. I totally forgot which one was in particular. But yeah, and this is where he has been out for weeks because due to that injury, and and even Javon Evans' doctor said he's clear enough to compete, but only if he decides to compete. It's only up to him if he wants to decide to compete, in his decision. Because if he ever gets injured like that again, he'll probably be the last that he'll ever compete in the squared circle again. And let's just say it almost got to that point, but I'm gonna get into that in just a moment. But yeah, this is where they even showed that he signed the waiver, like a liability waiver. So if anything happens to Javon Evans, it won't be the fault of NXT or anybody in WWE. Like that Ava made him sign. But this is where we got Javon Evans smartly got a mouth guard, what they call mouth guard to protect his jaw so he won't get tagged by the All Ego wrestler. This is where he starts stomping. He just beating him up until he gets kicked right in the gut when the referee stopped him at 4 when they were at the right upper left corner side, like when John Cena did to Batista back in 2010, like when they were fighting for the WWE Championship on that post-Raw after Elimination Chamber. I don't know how I remember that. That was 15 years ago. But anyways, where Javon Evans had a springboard crossbody onto Ethan Page, he ended up going for a pin. But this is where we got Ethan Page immediately kicked out at 2.2. This is where the fans are chanting go bouncy, because that is kind of his nickname, like for them being the most bounciest in NXT. This is where he tried to go for a bouncy cutter, which he was just an inch away from winning, but somehow All Ego Ethan Page caught him, and then he throws him right to the upper corner side. But he ends up, Javon Evans hold on to the ropes and pulled him down when he tried to go for a suicide dive. This is where Ethan Page tried to get back in the ring, but he ends up getting caught with a step-up insecurity by the young star. This is where the 20-year-old wrestler then went up, go for a springboard right to the left side, goes for a springboard bouncy cutter, which it was a guarantee because he tried to go for a first time, it didn't work, but it did connected this time because it was a guarantee, because it says it so on page 4003. And this where the fans are chanting let's go Javon Evans let's go bouncy or bouncy whoever the scenario. But this is where we got Ethan. This is where he tried to go. This is where did he try to That's where he tried to send him right to the steel steps. That's where he tried to remember when you broke my jaw. Well, I'm gonna get my revenge on him, because that's what the whole pay per view is all about, is to get some revenge. Unfortunately, at this time, he didn't really got that. That's where Ethan Page moved right away before he can even hit him right into the jaw first, into the steel steps with a stomp. It's where he grabbed onto his leg, took right over, puts it, stuck it between right in the back of the steps, and drop kicks it. And this where he messed up his leg really bad. Without the walking device, he's in big trouble. But this is where we got. Anyway, that's where the Javon was like, "Ah, my left leg." Is where he started screaming, like on the screaming, but the mouth guard was kind of blocking the loud effect, I guess you could say, of the screams. But that's where we got Ethan Page to start going for a stomp or knee strike right into the leg of the young star. That's where he started repeatedly kneeing his leg. That's where he's like, "Stop it, stop it." This is where Ethan Page was not listening because he didn't want to stop until he's completely broken and never get back in the business. Which I understand what's the reason why he wants to get rid of someone like Javon Evans. It just don't look good in his resume, regardless. But anyways, where he tried to go for what they call a catapult. This is where Javon Evans would not let go of the rope, so he pulled him right off of it and hit a leg DDT onto it. This is where he then hits what they call a single-legged Boston Crab. This is where Javon Evans like, "Let go, I'm not surrendering." This is where like I was like, "Yeah, I don't really blame you onto this not surrendering." But this is where we got him to try and go for try to bend like leg forward. This is where Ethan Page did bends right into his midsection, but he ends up getting him with a right hand. This is where we got Ethan Page then grabbing onto the leg of Javon. This is where he goes for an ankle lock. And this is where he try to twist his leg, which was the bad leg that Javon Evans got hit right into the steel steps. This is where we got Javon Evans kick him right to the face. This is where we got. And where he hits him with a big old uppercut. This is where we got. This is where we got Ethan Page hit a body slam onto the young OG. This is where then the legal wrestler then grab onto him. This is where he started going for another ankle lock. But the thing is, like Ethan Page could not. I mean, Ethan Page cannot successfully capitalize onto this match because Javon, like any shape or form, he just keep like somehow exiting out and find a way to get out of it. But this is where we got. This is where fans are continuing to shout his name, Young OG. This is where we got. This is where the Javon ever tried to grab onto the ropes. But this is where the thing is, like, this is where then the thing is, like, Ethan Page is not letting go, and this is where you're not letting him get further to the ropes on the right side until Javon Evans kind of stretch himself with an extra inch and grab onto the ropes. And the referee's like, all right, like he's on the ropes. That's where he tried to tell Ethan Page, he forcefully make him get off of him with this ankle lock. This is where. And Ethan Page, like, wait for Javon to get back up so he can try to finish Can't Javon do defense onto him, like, and that's what he started using. Even though at first, like, he was keep getting hit with ankle locks, where he gets thrown right to the bottom right corner side. Javon Evans hit a big old right hand. There's hit a big power punch that was probably stiff as hell. That probably made Ethan Page probably have tonight is Saturday confused with tomorrow is Sunday. But that's where the Javon got it confused for Sunday instead of being tomorrow, I should say. That's where Javon ever tried to go for that bouncy cutter, but it's where it ends up getting intercepted like by Ethan Page's ego's edge. That's where then. This is where he slams him back first, made him do a backflip. This is where Booker T's like, oh no. He's looking very bad for Javon, but somehow Javon gets the leg and shoulder before the referee can even put his hand on the mat for 3 at 2.999999999 double triple nine. Not out of the 9, them minus 0.1 away from being 3. This read the page like, no way. If you put your hand on the mat, that still should be 3, not 2 and 9. That's where the Ethan Page was no matter. This is where the half the fans were chanting for Ethan Page, but the other half was chanting for Javon. This is where we got. This is where he starts stomping on to the young OG, but this is where somehow like nothing did not work out of that. This is where Janelle Evans grab onto his leg. This is where he finally has risen. This is where he hit the big old right hand. He would get up for a second. Javon Evans started hitting some big old right hands right into the face on Ethan Page and trying to be the one to hit the first strikes like he was earlier, like so to prevent Ethan Page from talking in his jaw. Just where he goes for a handstand and enziguri right onto the what they call On to the all ego starters where we got hit a springboard flip out of alley front flip leg kick, heel kick, like from the opposite what your boy SNA would do in 2K24, like it's a springboard flip and it's a Giri kick. But it's where then we got what's his name kind of got a little bit of retribution. Javon Evans, like once he got Ethan Page down, like for an eye, somebody broke off Rey Mysterio about that experience. Or Sante no, like instead of somebody that's being randomly called out, like let's just say in this case it was a jaw for a jaw because he took out and broke his jaw. Like Javon Evans was trying to do the same to Ethan Page, was trying to like his jaw out, but that's where Javon Evans then brought him out in the ring. This is where he hits a dive onto him. This is where that's where Ethan Page somehow like got back up. So, however, unfortunately, this is where he hits a big old right hand on the Ethan Page so bad to the point that his mouth guard then fell out of his mouth. So it could be, but it was anything. Like it's any game. It is anybody's game at this point. It's where he hits that twist of fate like maneuver, get the 1-2-3 immediately. Ethan Page steals another win against the young OG and the NXT universe as well. That Vic Joseph explained. But it's where we saw. This is where we got Javon Evans' mouth was in a bloody mess, and it looks very painfully unfortunate for a guy like Javon Evans to get all his mouth busted open. Let's hope that his jaw's not broken. But it's probably going to lead us up into a storyline, like with Ethan Page assumes that Javon Evans is no longer going to be a wrestler again because he just finished him off with that big old right hand. But that doesn't mean he's making a comeback as a very talented individual, which I think that there's still going to be some justice and some repercussions that Ethan Page is going to pay. It's only just a matter of time on that. But let me know in the comments, do you think that Ethan Page needed to win much more than the young OG Javon Evans? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But yeah, hopefully he gets his justice, just like what's his name, Trick Williams. But that'll probably be in the next future video. But moving on, we got the next match, which I'll say the Ethan Page versus Javon Evans match. I would say I'll give it about maybe the blue ribbon of the night. But this is where we got the Triple Threat NXT Championship match, which amazingly Austin Theory and Grayson Waller came out separately. I believe that's like that for every man for himself kind of matches. But I heard from one particular W2K game, which I totally forgot what. If you play a champion, a tag partner, and you create like an interest that they both come out together, but they still gonna fight each other. Which I thought this was gonna be the case right here, but yeah, I was dead wrong because we saw Austin Theory came out first, then Grayson Waller, then Obafemi. But yeah, it was for the championship. Like that's the top prize of the company. This is where Grayson Waller and Austin Theory was about to go on one hand, right after they starting off with him and start going for their respective attacks onto the current black and silver and gold championship. That's where we got Obafemi somehow double Irish whip these two former WWE Tag Team Champions. Hits a double spine buster with one hand each, which I don't know how did he do. With Vic Joseph, he just picked two grown-ass men with one hand each, which that sounds very unrealistic if you told somebody that. But this is where we got Grayson Waller right to the bottom left side. But this is where we got, what's his name? Obafemi. You worry about this. Where I'm about to go for A-Town down, but this is where the Wall got back up. This is where they start thinking about hitting some double team maneuvers, like right to the bottom corner side. And this is where we got a pretty cool. It's a Giri kick, but this is where we got A-Town down under try to go for a suplex on the Oba, but somehow the Nigerian ruler counters and hits double suplex onto them when only just with them looking like if they're just a couple of 5-year-olds rather than being one is a 30-year-old and others like a 27 6-year-old. I mean, 7 or 8-year-old, I should say. Maybe Grayson Waller trying to go for sleeping on Oba. Oba sitting right to the upper left side, but Ross still trying to go for an attack, but he gets booted right to the face by oh no, he gets sent right to the left side. He tosses Grayson Waller right to the right side. We waited for Austin Theory to go for a wheelbarrow middle drop kick, but he ends up tossing him right onto of Grayson Waller, which we got a very hilarious line from Vic Joseph saying that might say like they literally just went down under, which that is a good ring to it, like onto their failure of taking out the current NXT champion. Is where Austin there try to go for a forearm strike, but it's waiting to get face, hitting him right to the face by. This is where they kind of tease that they're gonna go their separate ways and try to go after for the title, like which they don't care. It's gonna split up their friendship and partnership. It's where they start throwing the pushes right into each other, just like if it's like the go home show of NXT again. But this is where Austin Theory's like, all right, try to hit me with your best shot. Do it right here. Do it right now. This is where Chris Waller, okay, don't say I didn't warn you. This is where we got Obafemi ripped Waller out of the ring, like before he can even lay his first shot on Austin. That's where he kicked the Oba right in the face. But Oba then hits him with a big stinging chop, which I still think he's still feeling to this day. Like if there's like a billion bees like still in his chest, just this poking him with their pointy stuff. But that's where we got Austin trying to dive onto Obafemi, but he ends up slamming him back first right onto the apron right beside what's his name by Grayson. This is where Obafemi then took everything down from the table. This is where he hits a double chop right to the chest, which I believe it earned him a number 3 spot in the Ring General's playbook. And this is where we got Obafemi to try to go for a power bomb, if I'm not mistaken. This is where we got what's his name? This is where we got Grayson Waller trying to throw Obafemi right to the bottom left side. But it's where what's her name? Grayson Waller ends up getting thrown instead. This is where he try to fire right back to Oba. This is where he try to grab on the steel steps, but he ends up getting attacked from behind by the Nigerian ruler. This is where we got Oba and grab onto the steel steps. This is where and he. That's where we got Obafemi grab onto that halfway brought up steel step. Is where it's Austin Theory face first, right with the steps. Is where then he set it up right into a very impressive angle. This is where That's where then he that's where he ends up trying to go for throwing the face first right into Grayson Waller. But Grayson Waller trips over Obafemi and he hits his face, bounce off right into the steel step, which Vic Joseph pointed that out, which that was not mistaken the notice. But that's where Grayson Waller then followed that up with a DDT, taking advantage of the moment. This is where then he throws Obafemi back in the ring. This is where then he's like about to hit a rolling stunner, but that's where the fans start chanting, "We want tables," like if the Dudley Boys were here, because that is their favorite. That's their favorite, what they call weapon to call for, like in professional wrestling, because it's the fan favorite of yeah. Because it is the fan favorite, I should say. This is where we got this is where we got Grayson Waller trying to go for elbow strikes right to the neck of Obafemi. This is where he started hitting. Let's see, like this is where Obafemi tried to go for one move, but he ends up getting attacked with a steel chair by Grayson Waller. This is where he hits him right back first, forward, and back as well. That's where he started hitting him right to the ribs, trying to crush them right with a uppercut. This is where we got. This is where we got. This is where we got Grayson Waller started hitting some strokes and some punches right onto the middle of the ring. Went over Femi, went right up in the middle ropes. That's why I believe he was trying to hit the Waller rub elbow, like right on him in the middle rope. But he ended up getting caught with his right hand. That's why he tried to go for a choke slam, but he did with a back elbow. That's why he tried to run up there with a cross, but he ended up getting sidewalk slammed by the Nigerian ruler, which. That's where the But that's where we got when the Obafemi nearly got it one to Grayson Waller, but if it wasn't for Grayson's meddling best friend that came in to save the day. That's where Austin did try to go for a left hand, but this is where Obafemi clobbers him with a right. This is where we got Obafemi tries to spear him right to the into the bottom right corner side. This is where we got what's his name? Uh, Austin did try to go for a wheelbarrow flip into a middle drop kick. It's where then he brought him down right to the middle of the ring. It's where the But this is where we got Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. Then it's like, well, we're just one win away from winning the NXT championship. That's where the fans start chanting, "We want tables." But A-Town Down Under must have heard them, but they were listening because they are some because they are, I'll say, some squid heads, I guess you could say. This is where we got Obafemi hit a big old right hand onto Waller, then hits a right hand to the face, right onto Austin Theory. This is where we got. This is where we got Grayson Waller. No, Austin Theory hits a big old right hand to stop the. This is where we got. This is where Austin Theory picks up Obafemi into an electric chair slam. This is where Obafemi's like, if I'm gonna come down, you're coming with me too, like little chump. And then this is where then he grab on the head of the Aussie icon. And he's like, no, I don't want to go down there. This is where then it's what he tells Austin no, but Austin did not hear was like what he said. He just immediately hits the maneuver right back first, right onto the open field, but Austin agrees with what I should say. That's where we got. But this is where we try to go for a pin, but Austin try to go for a pin, but this is where he immediately gets denied with a kick out at 2.9999999. Double triple nine minus 0 point away from being three. This is where fans start chanting. This is awesome. This is where we got. But this is where Obafemi then grab onto Austin Theory, hits him back first right into the apron, which is indeed the hardest part of the ring. This is where he finally brought up the fan favorite weapon. The fans were chanting all match long, and that was the tables, like the Dudley Boys. This is where we got. But anyway, this is where we got. Anyway, Obafemi dropping the table up, and this is where he immediately gets attacked by Austin Theory. This is where they start double teaming him. This is where they try to make him backfire when they start beating him up right into the ringside area. This is where we got Austin Theory and Grayson Waller work together, put him right onto the table. This is where we got. Then the Grayson Waller hits them with the Waller rub elbow strike or elbow drop right onto the heart of the champion and ruler of Obafemi, when the fans start chanting "Holy Sugar Honey Iced Tea," which I know, well, I'd say in that way, I should say "Holy Shit" chant because it wasn't Peacock and they don't censor things out what the fans have to say. But But this is where we got Austin Theory throws Obafemi right back in the ring, try to go for a pin. But Obafemi immediately kicked out at 2.7 is where we got. This is where Grayson Waller was like I thought when we made a deal. This is where it's like what do we do? Like, so that's what you want to do, huh? Like first you want to pretend to be my friend, smile on my face, but only when I have my back turned, I can give you the benefit of the doubt. I see you snooping, like what's gonna be happening into our future in the tag division. But this is where we got. But this is where we got. Obafemi came out. This is where came up. Came back up. This is where Obafemi then immediately attacks Waller when he was trying to set his sights on the Austin Theory. This is where we got. This is where we got. Remember, Obafemi intercepted Austin Theory. It was not like deja vu from this past Monday, to Tuesday on the Go Home show, where Obafemi hits a big, devastating clothesline. This way, the your uppercut is where he followed that up with another one, but Grayson Waller tried to go for a clothesline, but ends up missing him just by an inch. That's where we got. That's where we got Obafemi. But that's where he did boots the chair that Grayson Waller was what they call was swinging at this direction. That's where that's where he didn't hit a back suplex right now on the announce table, which he was taking the page out of Randy Orton's playbook. The ruler was. This where he went back in the ring and finished what he started there. This where. This is where I got Austin there, then kicks him out of the gut. This where then he equalized the chair, trying to swing it right to the face. This is where Obafemi punched it right off his hand, like he'd be that certain whale dude that's now in Gorilla with the Anthony guy that's in the other companies where Austin Theory then hits him with the. This is where we got Austin Theory then going for. Trying to go for A-Town down, like this where he immediately gets stabbed, but once you try to go for 1 and 2, this is where we got the meddling Aussie that came in and interrupted. This is where the what's name said best line in his commentary, Corey Gray of comparing Grayson Waller to a Judas, because instead of doing a kiss of death, like he does he didn't do the betrayal of death, I guess you could say. But the fans are trying to turn on to Grayson, to Austin Theory, because he's more better than this. This is where then. But yeah, this is where we got Austin Theory and Grayson Waller to start arguing about. And Austin Theory's like, well, like I was in the ring, so I thought I was gonna be I thought I was making a help for both of us, and yeah, I started like in this tease of a feud between A-Town Down Under. But now, like, it's like everything's probably gonna be put to rest. I sure hope that an A-Town Down Under will make an appearance on Raw for a very particular reason, which I believe that no one would like to miss that. But this is where Obafemi then hits. He's gonna hit this finishing maneuver on to Austin Theory when he hits a. No, before he can even hit that powerbomb, this is where Grayson Waller tried to come in and hit a rolling stunner, but this is where he moved out of the way. Smart move from the what they call the smart move from the former North American champion, current NXT champion. That's where Obafemi hit the pop-up powerbomb right onto Grayson Waller to go for the pin, and he ended up getting the 1, 2, 3, and the winner of this match. But yeah, and the winner of the match and still your North American champion. The NXT championship, what am I even talking about right now? I may be getting a bit too tired, but hopefully not too much, though, at the same time. But Obafemi is still your NXT champion. Big respect and big humbling words to the Nigerian ruler of showing that he's the man of his word. But I got to admit, A-Town Down Under was did like exactly what they did, but just they were about to win. It's just that they came up short. Like, it was just not their night, unfortunately. Well, it really wasn't, but let me know down in the comments below about this win, and yeah. But yeah, I figured that was gonna be the case, and this is where we're gonna lead up to a future showdown between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, which I hope is going to be in the post-show Raw after this particular night of NXT Vengeance Day, which is 2 days after the event. Like, even like big moments and stuff like that. It managed to be a perfectly being a perfectly fantastic match, which ties for the women's match, like being what they call the golden trophy of the night. But But yeah, just leave your comments right down below. It was like how I predicted on this matter, which I'm gonna get a yeah. But yeah, this is where we got. But let me know down in the comment section right down below on what's your opinions on to this matter, and who do you think that Obafemi's gonna be defending his NXT title to next? Like now that he remains as the developmental's top prize. But this is where we got all the women coming out. This is where then Vic Joseph compared this Fatal 4-Way match to the infamous Fatal 4-Way that the last time Bailey was in an NXT, which was like 10 years ago, which it was her, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and that other girl, which I'm not sure if I should say her by name, which I'm not sure if I even know her name right now. And even if I did, like, I think it'll be inappropriate for me to mention it right here. Like, and she's a wrestler over at the other company. But my point is, like, it was like those four horsewomen, like with these four women that fought tonight, which one was in the original brand, while two was in the 2.0 era. And like now we got the future of Julia, which Julia like must have been the MVP tonight because she was taking on like all three of these women like if it's a 2-on-1 handicap match. Like if she was a very convincing like a helpless helpless competitor. But that's where we got Cora Jade. Then Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez was nearly going at. But it's where Cora Jade kind of looked familiar to somebody that I know. Like maybe Bailey could even ask me about that question, like who she looked like with the half purple and the half black hair, which that'll be a different video for a different day. This is where we got Cora Jade. It was wondering, like, should I go after Roxanne Perez? What they kind of teased right here, like, should they go after one another? This is where Bailey's like, yes, they go fight each other. This is where it's like, hey, ain't that right? Like, let's go. And this is where fans start agreeing with the $1 million worth women's wrestler that possibly could be dating that certain tight end football player on for the San Francisco team. This is where Bailey then went right up into Roxanne, but this where like when Bailey's like, all right, I have a better idea. How about I go after Roxanne and then you Cora go after Julia. This what But this is where then she tried to attack her in the bottom right side. This is where we got Cora Jade, like looked like she was saving a friend, but she was like, I have a better idea. Like, how about I fight you and you fight what's her name? Julia. Roxanne fights Julia. This is where then we got Bailey then trying to go for close on to Roxanne, but Roxanne doesn't goes for Cora. This is where then we got Roxanne to start attacking Bailey. This is where they both end up getting drop kicked by Julia herself. This is where she ends up getting booted right into the face. This is where we got this is where she ducked out of a clothesline. This is where from Bailey's where it's a flying head scissors. And this is where I was like, wow, like I see why this is the main event. And let's just say I'll be a little bit of a spoiler. The other company have a particular women's wrestling match that should main event the show because considering like the one is from Australia, like being the hometown favorite. And it shows like even if they wasn't in that specific country, like it seems like this was probably national Women's Championship Day, which I'm gonna get into onto that video. But it's where we got Julia to try to go first, to attack to Bailey. But it's where we got Cora Jade and Roxanne to try to work together, like A-Town Down Under, try to do do against Obafemi. But I wonder how that lasts. Like, but it's where we got Cora Jade that accidentally hit the shoulder tackle when she thought it was Julia, but instead it was Roxanne. But or maybe she wants us to believe that, or whatever the case may be. But that's where we got Julia try to go for a kick right to the midsection, onto what's her name, Cora. But it's where she swings it right into Bailey's direction. Bailey dodges out of it. This is where she throws, try to go for a double axe handle. But it's where we got but that's why we got Julia that pushes what's her name? Uh, uh Julia pushes Bailey right into Cora Jade, and then she hits the most devastating move in all professional wrestling. Surprise roll up, but this is where Cora Jade tried to go for one of her own. But Roxanne ended up trying to do it to her partner. This is where she tried to go for the attack for Cora Jade, because like what Cora Jade actually did, and they have like their friendship like has finally officially ended. Like now that during this match, like in a very heated mood. But this is where we got Cora J or Julia to go for an attack, try to go for a double roll up to the onto the former two NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. But this is how somehow we saw Bailey did a sunset flip onto Julia to try to get a win that way, but Julia immediately kicked out of that maneuver. But this is where we got this is where all four women went to their respective corners, like one on the left, one on the right, one on the top, one on the bottom. Like, yeah, that's where to start going at, start throwing fists with Julia. Was going at with Roxanne, and Cora was doing the Bailey. That's where we got Bailey immediately threw Cora out of the ring in the right side, left side, like while Roxanne did the same with Julia. This is where it was the prodigy and the role model that was still in the ring. But that's when they end up hitting a double suicide dive right onto to their respective opponents that they were fighting. This where they went face to face with them pushing their hands right into each other's faces, which Bailey started the whole thing until they said, how about we fight like real women, and this was like we use our fists instead of only our hands. This is where what's her name, Roxanne Perez was like, sounds good to me. This is where they got back in the ring. This is where they tried to throw fists, but they just keep ducking out of each other's maneuvers. Where we got Roxanne try to go for a wheelbarrow maneuver, but this is where she ends up getting thrown right to the top corner side. But this is where Bailey gets a slide duck. This is where she goes for a cartwheel, and then the kick. This is where she does her bow, like if it's a final bow. This is where Bailey immediately start going for right hand. This is where we got the role model that went right to the right corner side, hits the back elbow right onto the prodigy. But this is where she ends up getting tripped by her friend, or for a former friend, I should say, with the resident mean girl. That's where she told Bailey to stay her fat ass down. Like, and I understand why I said fat for. She's nowhere near being fat. But anyways, this is where we got Cora Jade and went back in the ring to go and confront her best friend Roxanne Perez, saying like we can finally have our moment, like of us putting our friendship aside, and this is where they did so by grappling. And I believe Kettle Chips would say like that's an accurate statement what I just said about Bailey, which I understand what I'm even saying right now. This is where we got like because she's not nowhere near being obese or even a little overweight. And I hope I don't sound very offensive when I say that. I'm just saying that like saying like that she doesn't look like she's overweight. Like she looks like she's in perfectly good shape. But anyways, and I think I just rhymed right there, so that's absolutely correct. But this is where we got Roxanne. Like they got the offense in, like when she got Cora Jade right where she wants her into the pop rocks. But this is where Cora Jade flipped right out of it. This is where she ducks into like a wrist lock and try to go for the double underhook DDT, like if she's her version of Mick Foley. But this is where we got Roxanne Perez counter try to go for a Russian leg sweep. But here comes Julia back in the ring. Hit the middle drop kick on both Roxanne and Cora.
I to ask you something.
Okay, be right there. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Okay. What happened? Okay. No problem. I'm gonna get done with this first video and I'm gonna make my tacos. Mhm. But anyways, assassinators. What was that? Oh yeah, Julia hits a middle drop kick onto the two former tag team champions of NXT. This is where of the women's division, of course, that is. But this is where we got she got him lined up in the diagonal position with Cora right into the upper right corner side, while Roxanne in the bottom left side of the ring to start going for knees right into the faces of both Roxanne and Cora, respectively, and then boot him right into the face once they were in the bottom turnbuckle position. That's where Julia was like, yeah, bring on the fire because Miss Pretty Hot Mess is here, get ready to retain here. But this is where once you try to go for a pin to Roxanne, the same woman same young woman that she beaten to become that championship in the first place. But somehow Roxanne kicked out at 2.4, which I was surprised that she kicked out so early rather than later. But this is where we finally saw the former the former strong women's champion and the I'll say the Triple Crown Women's Champion and went face to face. They're like, yeah, but it gets on now when Bailey was agreeing with the pretty hot mess here, like with them like looking like with the fans around the arena as well. Like this is where fans start chanting NXT repeatedly. This is where Bailey's like, okay, like let's do this. This is where Bailey tripped over what's her name? She tripped over Julia. This is where she tried to go for look like about to go for like a leg maneuver, but this is where she tried to transition that into a headlock. But this is where it immediately gets intercepted by Julia into a hammerlock submission position. This is where she rolled up into a pin, but this is where Bailey rolled and countered out of it, trying to go for a headlock. But this is where then we got what's her name? And this is where we got what's her name? Julia to try to go for a slide dunk. This is where Bailey didn't fall for that because she's been in this business for a decade now. This is where she tried to go for a roll up. But this is where then we got what's her name? What's her name? Julia to goes for a pin. I got to go for a headlock slam. This is where she goes into like a what they call a crucifix kind of roll up. But this is where we got Bailey then got her right where she wanted like into a. And that's where Bailey to try to go for a roast play. But this is where she get put to a right. That's where That's where one half of the fans were chanting like "Let's go Bailey," the other half was chanting "Julia," like "Let's go Bailey, Julia." And then this way, then we got Julia tried to go for an arm bar maneuver, but this is where Bailey then dodges out of it, then try to take a breather right to the top corner. But the one thing that she totally forgot, there's no breaks in professional wrestling. Like this is where we got Julia. Then after she stomped right to the face when she was laying down right to the bottom corner ropes, this is where like we got into not bottom the bottom ropes in the top corner. I meant to say, but where Julia went right to the exact same corner and to the diagonal side but she ends up getting tripped right over by Cora and Roxanne. And where we got that's where the both two former women's tag team champions they're trying to hit Julia face first right into the apron, which is a proven fact. It's the hard part of the ring until Bailey then hits a baseball sliding kick right onto two of the heels. And this way, then we got Julia and Bailey to start bringing them to taking them to school. This is where we got and when that's where they hit them after they hit them face first right to the respective side of the bottom corner apron. They run into each other by hitting them head first right onto the ringside area. This is where we got Bailey then was holding on to Cora Jade, and this is where we got what's her name? Julia licked her hand a little bit to hit a chop right onto the chest onto Cora, which it was successful. This is where Bailey did a triple peat, like when she with her hands by hitting the back to back chops right in the chest of Roxanne when Julia hold her on like to do the double team maneuver. But that's where fans are cheering for the baby faces with them giving the fans a bow. That's where they threw Cora right back in the ring. This is where we got. But this is where we got both Julia and Bailey trying to go for a double suplex, but somehow Roxanne Perez came from behind. Oh what? Oh no! And I think that was later on my mistakes. Like she was coming from the bottom corner side, but it was too late because they hit the double suplex onto her best friend or maybe her former best friend, whoever you want to refer her as. But this is where then we got this is where we got. But that's where they try to go for Roxanne Perez next. But this is where Cora Jade was the one that saved the day because, like, yeah, she just got back up like 2 seconds afterwards. Even though like like the suplex is not the most powerful maneuver, but it still should have kept her like at least down for a minute. But like with all the luck of Roxanne, is where they got her up. This is where we got Cora Roxanne and hit a double super kick. This is where they're about to throw a fist at each other, but this is where they start taking it back. But this is where we got Corey Graves and said the most brilliant thing of his commentary yet of tonight's Vengeance Day pay-per-view. And that was saying, come on, throw a fist right into each other. Like if y'all Vegeta and Goku, like just fighting it out like if it's Dragon Ball Z. But this is where then but that's where they end up slugging it out right to Bailey and Julia. That's where they threw Julia right to the upper left side. That's where we got Cora Jade threw Roxanne into an uppercut with Roxanne Perez returning the favor of her best friend or former, and she had a shining wizard knee strike like her fellow Chicago wrestler that inspired her to be in this business, and that is the man known as Chick Magnet Punk. But this where then But it's where we got Bailey then try to go for a surprise roll out of nowhere. But it's where she gets stopped by what's her name? Cora Jade. Then they started beating up the poor role model. This where we got Cora Jade. They started kneeing the back of the head of Bailey. This where she got right into over. This where then they hit a back elbow right into the back of what's her name, Bailey. That's where what's her name? What they hit the double dip moonsault like off the right corner side, a double springboarded, I believe. Moonsault around the Bailey knocking her right to the top corner side. That's where we got both Roxanne and Cora to start stomping onto the reigning defending NXT Women's Champion. But this is where we got somehow Roxanne Perez did heelishly and carelessly like pushes Cora Jade right off her way, rudely. This is where we got. That's where we got. That's where we got them. They start teaming together. This is where they start giving them the death stare. Like not sure if they should trust one another. That's where we got. That's where we got. One thing, Cora Jade eventually they threw Roxanne Perez right into Julia. This is where she hit the Shining Wizard knee strike, like she is CM Punk. And I believe she kicked her out of the ring. I believe their friendship is over. And I believe that we're going to be seeing what could possibly be next with them down the line. But that's where we got Cora Jade and hit a what they call a gut wrench suplex. This is where she got hurt right where she wanted, but that's where she immediately went right to the right corner side. Like after she got her down, like where right down on the mat. But this is where it was. But Julia immediately just went right into this corner side. This is where we got Cora Jade to go for a cannonball onto what's her name? Onto Julia and Bailey. This is where she screamed right at them, which I don't know why that she made it too personal at this point. But it's where fans are chanting. This is awesome, which it deserves to get a golden trophy next to Obafemi against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. But it's where Cora Jade nearly had this won by having Bailey into one of her finishers off the top rope. But Roxanne got right in front of Bailey, grabbed onto her former friend, and flipped her into a snapmare back in the ring. This is where we got Roxanne Perez hit a Luthez press right onto her former tag partner and friend. Is where starting some right hand. Where they're saying she really never wanted her to get this opportunity in the first place. Now she's gonna take her out for good. Did some European uppercut. Then she roll right back into the middle, but she ends up getting flying knee strike by Bailey. But this is where then we got Bailey that hits a forearm strike right onto to Cora and Roxanne Perez. Then 10 each on both young women. Like this is where we got Cora Jade trying to go for a clothesline to Roxanne. She rolled up. She tried to go for a wheelbarrow maneuver, but she ends up getting intercepted into a collar with an assist of Bailey with Cora Jade holding Roxanne down. This is where we got Bailey hits face first, hits what's her name face first. I meant to say Cora Jade. This is where then she adopted a very familiar move that probably a fellow wrestler used to do in WWE, which she probably does over the other company, and that is the double knees to the midsection, right, with her opponents in the sideways position into the middle middle turnbuckle. That's what Bailey did right here. The fans are and when she knocks her down, is where Bailey starts beating her chest. Is where she's like, "Yeah, like y'all know that move, right?" And we all know like that because we're gonna be talking about the hurt like later on into the next video immediately. But it's where Bailey hits a clothesline onto her, throws her back in the ring. Bailey then hits a drive-by drop kick right through the rope, which I believe that's she has that move on 2K24 if I'm not mistaken. Like I believe that's her signature move, like a super signature. But this is where we got Bailey trying to go for a twisting, jaw breaking cutters, but this is where Roxanne Perez tried to stop her, even though it was not because of helping her former friend, but it was just to get her out of the way and she could finish all of them at once. But this is where Bailey ends up throwing her right beside her former ally. This is where she hits a double cutter onto them. This is where we got Julia hits a boot right into her face. This is where we got Julia did try to go for her what that maneuver. Her hip suplex flip maneuver right onto the former Triple Crown Women's Champions. This is where then we got Julia was like, "Who wants to be my who's gonna be my pinning victim? This where she's like, I got a couple of takers, which it was Roxanne and Cora. Of course, she hit the uppercut on the Cora first. That's where she hit the Japanese uppercut right onto what's her name, Roxanne Perez. That's where did she even hit one to what's her name, Bailey as well when she got back up from that hip suplex maneuver that she, which I believe that's her signature. That's where she hit the half and half slam as well. This where then we got Bailey then drove her clothesline. She ducks out of it. This is where she goes for like a Black Widow like maneuver to try to turn to an arm drag. This is where it was kind of botched. Like this is where she tried to improvise, try to go for another one. But this is where she hits this Widow's Peak maneuver onto Bailey. But and Julia looking like a Japanese human version of an octopus. Just start like if she like tangling her or strangling Bailey with her all 8 of her tentacles, even though she got 4 limbs. But this is where we got Bailey then somehow counter out of it, trying to hit a what they got someone drop, but it ended up getting a crucifix bomb by what's her name, Julia, like when she nearly got the win by hitting this maneuver when she had her pinned down for the win. And that's where we got Roxanne Perez and went for the save, like meddling around. The rest we saw her got away with it sooner. That's where we got Roxanne to hit a forearm strike, and then turn into a side like a Russian leg sweep. That's where we got Julia to counter out of it. That's where she goes for a German suplex or try to trip her over into like her version of the STF, which I totally forgot that she does this maneuver. But that's where we got somehow like Roxanne Perez somehow counter, but this is where she gets hit with that sidewalk suplex maneuver. Maybe she would have gotten away with it sooner if it wasn't for those meddling $1 million and Mean Girl kids, I guess you could say, or was it Cora and Bailey? But anyways, this is where she threw Cora threw Julia right into the bottom right corner side of the turnbuckle. This is where she tried to go for a double underhook maneuver, which she's not having most of the luck of the night because she got double cursed right here in the double under maneuver. But this is where Bailey somehow countered out of it. This is where she got her into a firewoman's carry into a sidewalk slam, but looked pretty impressive, which I believe that's what Kettle Chips would think that's what the case is. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but this is where Bailey kicks out of it. This is where we got Julia then try to go for that hammerlock maneuver, but this is where we got what's her name. Bailey pushes what's her name. Julia right in the bottom right corner side turnbuckle. This is where she hits a sunset flip onto Julia. This is where then Roxanne came in, or else Bailey would have probably had a chance to become a 2-time women's NXT championship and first time in her career. This is where Roxanne flipped right up on the top rope when she got Irish whip right to the top. This is where she tried to go for a corner ropes pop rocks version, like if it's 2K23 and 4, but this is where Cora Jade reminded this is real life, and she gets a Shining Wizard knee strike. This is where then we got Cora Jade, the knees, Bailey right into the face. This is where we got Cora Jade. Finally got the third time. It's charm. Must have got the card right into the bottom right corner side rope, like which was the third time, third leaf clover card, like which is the third time guarantees a charm. Hit the double underhook DDT onto Bailey. This is where like she didn't have that much luck though, because she ended up getting stopped by Perez of all people. This is where Cora Jade, like, I had a moment of finally becoming the NXT Women's Champion. A belt down, been trying to work hard for the past 4 years, where she screamed on the top of her lungs, like, "How could you, Roxy?" And then that's where then she grabbed on the Roxanne Perez, like, "I'm gonna make you pay." And this is where the Roxanne Perez, like, "No, please take it back." But this is where before anything can happen, this is where Julia hits the back suplex. This is where we got Julia then hits the back suplex on the Roxanne. This is where Julia was through playing around and just trying to just get it over with, like this show why she's the women's champion. This is where she tried to go for a tackle. She ends up getting hit with in the midsection with a drop kick by Roxanne in the upper right corner side. Roxanne tried to go for a mid rope maneuver or top rope maneuver, whatever the scenario was. But this is where we got Julia then count out. This is where they try to go for a suplex or even a double underhook suplex in that matter off the top ropes and into an avalanche position. But this is where we got Bailey then try to go for what's that electric chair position, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a back suplex, or maybe Cora Jade was in a power bomb, making this the most insanely but amazing women's what they did the most amazing most amazing women's Tower of Doom I've ever seen in WWE. When the fans start chanting NXT because that's what basically NXT is all about. This is where we got this is where fans are repeatedly this awesome chants. This is where we got Cora Jade that hit some right hands to the face onto Julia, but this is where Bailey then went right to Cora, but this is where Cora went right back to Bailey. This is where Roxanne was going at with Julia again, like with them going fist. Like this is where it was just a slugfest at this point. Like they like there was no way else to go, like other than just knock each other out to oblivion, and one lucky woman to be the winner of this match if they could just pin the one that's down, like no matter who it is, whether if it's champion or not, or whatever the scenario is. This is where Bailey took out like Roxanne. This is where we got Julia then sends Cora right to the right court side, but she rolled right on the outside. Like same with Bailey right to that. But this is where that's where the Roxanne went, raked the eyes of Bailey, hits a pop rocks right onto the bottom corner. This is where she tried to throw Bailey back in the ring for the win. That's the only way that she's gonna win the match. This is where she tried to go for again by doing a very awesome, like very impressive version of the pop rocks with her running to the left side, have her in a bent over position to hit another one. But the sad thing is, Cora Jade came in and cost her a shot of winning back her title, like a belt that's like that Roxanne held like for almost a year, and she got a little bit of payback. I guess that's I guess a 1/4% of vengeance. This is where we got Cora that hit the double under DDT. This is where we got somehow Julia came in and steal the win from what's her name onto stole the win from Cora Jade, hitting a big DVD knee strike right into the what that DND, I believe, knee strike actually it's called, right onto Cora Jade, and on the outside is where she did too much of stealing. She did the more earnings, like this knee, Roxanne press right into the face, and hit that sidewalk slam maneuver, hit the 1-2, the sideways suplex maneuver, which is her finisher, of course, to retain her NXT Women's title and steal your NXT Women's Championship in the main event of Vengeance Day of NXT. Julia, and then you will not believe who comes out there to confront Julia. And yep, you guessed it, newly won NXT Women's North American Champion Stephanie Vaquer, which I thought that this is where we're gonna. This is like a teaser right here with them going face to face and then to celebrate. But this is where my first prediction happened, like right after that. Like when I was thinking, like it's got to be Big Mama Pump herself, and it ends up being her, but not until well, I at least expected to be her because rumor has it that they're not immediately gonna put her on the show, but yet we saw her like went face to face with both Stephanie and Julia, and it looks like that she could go after for either women's championship, or even they could all do a triple threat, and it'll be winner takes all kind of situation, like at what they got NXT Stand and Deliver. And what do you think? What's the scenario is going to be in this case? Like with them, like leaving a little bit of an exciting, leaving an exciting cliffhanger, like into the women's division, just adding more leverage of excitement because we all knew that Jordan Grace's contract expired on NXT, I mean NXT, and she was going to be probably heading her way to NXT by signing a deal with WWE. And then I guess that we got that answer, but it's going to be it's going to be it's gonna be probably a confirmation mark, like as soon as like we heard the news about that and about Ricky Starks as well, if he's gonna keep his name or not. And if so, then we can finally, whenever he gets called to the main roster, we can finally do an angle between him and Zoe Starks, or the long lost siblings of one another that they didn't know that they were like, which that would be a very perfect storyline. Which that sounds like a very interesting creative booking, but maybe a little too cringy and goofy, if to say the very least. But yeah, I would give this the Golden Trophy as well. And NXT, they were. This was a very good pay per view, even though it was not exactly how I predicted it to be. But still, it had me very well intrigued. Like, and I wonder, like, I hope that we do see that A-Town Down Under will split, like after they did some teases of going at it, but amazingly they did not strike, not even once, only barely a couple of pushes on one another, just like they did last Tuesday on the go home edition of the Black and Gold and Silver brand. But what are your thoughts on NXT's Vengeance Day tonight? Which I would give it about 4.5 stars. Let me know how y'all rank it in the comment section right down below. And if that you very well intrigued, let me know just while liking the video, sharing the video, and subscribing and post notification bells beside it as well. And I will be making my AEW Grand Slam review video. Just wait until the next like 5 to 10 minutes because I'm gonna grab a little bit of dinner and I'm gonna head back here and make that video like in particular because I just say it was exactly how I imagined it, and I guess that's my reward of being being a AEW lifer, like along with being a WWE lifer, like with Anthony Khan, like saying like at least I find somebody that's not criticizing my booking and my product. Like, and yeah, I'm probably like the first fan that will do so. And like, and not boo. Like, I heard like that the fans were booing the hell out of Anthony Khan before the show began when he was introducing the show, like before that started with the matches. And I sure hope that Anthony Khan like will bounce back from this setback, like from this fans were being very disappointed, which I can understand what the fans were coming from, like with them had to move from a stadium to be in a small venue, but like, it would make sense to move it to like due to small ticket sales. And I don't think it's because of less lack of interest from the fans. I think it's also because some of the fans are just just couldn't afford to make the trip over down under, and they only get like a handful of fans over already in that country. So I guess that's partially the reason why of it. But I'm gonna talk about the latest edition of AEW, like of the Grand Slam show, like right here on the SNA podcast. I hope you all enjoyed this the first video. Hope we are going to be doing the same with the next one, and I'll see you guys on the next one with some more SNA content until we meet again. Super Ninja Austin out of here. Bye bye, my assassinators. Y'all take care and have a phenomenal night, and I'll see you guys in the next few minutes. And yeah, if you excuse me, I'm gonna do a little bit of changing to get something to eat real fast, and then I'm gonna do the second round of the SNA podcast. So yeah, see you very soon.